Welcome back to the channel. Today we're diving deep into what's been going on with Kaspa, one of the most talked about projects in the altcoin space right now. Over the past week, the community has been buzzing with bold claims, whale activity, unusual on-chain behavior, and a technical setup that has both bulls and bears scratching their heads. If you're holding Kaspa or just watching from the sidelines, this update should give you plenty to think about. This video is for educational purposes only. It is not financial advice. Always do your own research before investing in crypto. Let's start with the noise on social platforms. Recently, Mitchell Lim shared a post on X pointing out how Kaspa investors should pay attention to comments made by DaVinci J15 during a live stream. He went as far as to say that Kaspa is 2 times better than certain other technologies in the space. Now, where exactly he's getting that number from remains a mystery. The comparison felt more like marketing hype than something rooted in solid metrics. But then he went further with an even bolder statement, claiming Kaspa could be 6K times better. That's the kind of soundbite that grabs attention, but without proper explanation. It falls into the same bucket as wild price targets we often see floating around crypto Twitter. At the end of the day, both Mitchell and DaVinci are known holders of Kaspa, so their extreme bullishness may be colored by their own positions. It's always smart to take that with a grain of salt, maybe even a grain the size of Mount Everest. Meanwhile, Kaspa Lens has been raising an important question. Are whales offloading Kaspa on Gate.io? Trading volume on that exchange has been roughly double compared to others over the past day, and some interpret this as a sign of large holders distributing their bags. Retail traders, on the other hand, are seeing this as an opportunity, calling it a discount window before the next supply shock expected in the coming year. This is a classic split in market psychology. Retail always wants to believe they're scooping up bargains while the so-called smart money takes profits quietly. Whether this really leads to a supply squeeze down the road remains to be seen, but it does highlight just how differently whales and smaller investors view the same data. One analyst who's been keeping a close eye on blockchain activity is Ryan, a respected name in crypto circles. He pointed out that Kaspa processed over 4 million transactions in just 24 hours. That's an astonishing figure, especially when we compare it to the relatively flat price action. His view is that this disconnect might suggest something big happening under the hood, possibly stress testing or even quiet institutional experiments with Kaspa's infrastructure. This isn't a far-fetched idea. When transaction activity spikes massively without a matching price rally, it often signals internal testing or behind-the-scenes adoption that hasn't yet spilled over into the open market narrative. Whether that's the case here, we'll know only with time, but it's worth keeping on the radar. Kaspa Daily added another layer to the discussion by reporting that coins untouched for over 2 years have now reached 15% of total supply. This diamond hands behavior suggests growing long-term conviction, but it also reduces liquid supply. That can mean sharper price swings when demand increases or decreases suddenly. Still, while the fundamentals show holders are sticking around, the technicals are flashing warning signs. Let's break down the chart action. Right now, Kaspa is moving painfully slowly compared to the rest of the altcoin market. Price has been trapped between 8 cents and 9 cents for weeks, hovering around 8.6 cents most recently. That's been frustrating for day traders looking for a breakout, because the lack of direction makes it nearly impossible to play short-term moves with confidence. The 4-hour chart shows a tight range. Support around 7.2 cents has held firm since the September 6th dip, while upper resistance near 9.9 cents has been tested multiple times since July but never broken. Each attempt has been met with heavy selling, showing it's a serious psychological wall. The last bounce took Kaspa from about 7.2 up to 8.9 cents, only to slip back down to 8.6. That kind of back and forth means neither bulls nor bears have control right now. From a momentum perspective, the RSI is stuck in the mid-30s to low 40s, both on the shorter and longer time frames, which is below neutral. That signals weak momentum rather than explosive energy in either direction. Open interest sits around $476 million, showing traders aren't piling into new positions. Longs are around $193 million, while shorts are closer to $224 million, meaning the bias is leaning bearish. But, and this is important, if shorts get squeezed, it could actually fuel a surprise breakout. To put it simply, unless Kaspa can break and close above 9 to 10 cents with volume, upside is capped. On the downside, a fall below 8 cents risks another drop towards 7.2 cents, and if that breaks, 6 cents comes into play. For bulls, the key number to watch is a close above 9 cents. Without it, we're stuck in this frustrating sideways chop. Zooming out, Kaspa just dropped 6.5% in the last 24 hours, while the broader market was only down 1.4%. That tells us Kaspa's underperforming relative to its peers. The rejection at 8.5 to 9 cents created a bearish RSI divergence that triggered a cascade of automated sell orders. Adding to that, Bitcoin dominance climbed back to 57.4%, which means capital is rotating out of smaller altcoins and back into Bitcoin. The altcoin season index slipped by nearly 3%, again reinforcing the idea that investors are becoming risk-averse. Kaspa couldn't hold above its 30-day SMA at 8.56 cents, let alone the 200-day EMA at 9.46 cents. And those failed tests accelerated the sell-off. Even though the MACD histogram briefly flipped positive, momentum remains weak with RSI hovering near 50. That's neutral territory, but leaning toward bearishness. The 61.8% Fibonacci retracement at 8.26 cents is now acting as a must-hold support. Lose that, and we're probably heading for 7.5 cents, a level that would hurt holders significantly. What's unusual, though, is trading volume. Typically, when prices drop hard, volume spikes as panic selling takes over. But in Kaspa's case, 24-hour volume fell by 24% to $58.7 million, which is the opposite of what you'd expect. This suggests investors aren't panicking. They're simply rotating out quietly into large-cap assets. The Fear and Greed Index sitting at 51 reflects this neutral mood. It's not fear, not greed, just cautious indifference. Weekly performance adds more evidence. Kaspa is down 11% over the last 7 days, while Bitcoin only slipped 1.5%. That contrast shows just how vulnerable smaller altcoins are right now compared to established giants. So where does all of this leave Kaspa investors? In the near term, the coin looks trapped. Until we see a clean break above 9 cents with conviction, price is likely to stay in a narrow band between 8 and 9 cents. Bears are eyeing 7.2 cents as critical support, and losing that opens the door to 6 cents. Bulls, on the other hand, need to push past resistance and close above 9 to 10 cents for momentum to shift. In the longer view, there are encouraging signs. High inactive supply shows many holders are committed. The huge transaction count points to real network usage. And if whispers about institutional testing prove true, Kaspa could be positioning itself for serious adoption down the line. But for now, patience is the name of the game. To wrap it up, Kaspa finds itself at a crossroads. On the one hand, the hype on social media is louder than ever, with influencers throwing out dramatic claims. On the other, on-chain data reveals growing activity and long-term confidence. The charts, however, tell a story of weakness and indecision, with price stuck in a tight range and market sentiment turning cautious as Bitcoin reclaims dominance. If you're a short-term trader, this is a time for caution. Either wait for a breakout above resistance or prepare for a test of lower supports. If you're a long-term believer, the steady rise in inactive supply and massive transaction counts may reinforce your conviction. But one thing is certain, the next major move in Kaspa is going to test the nerves of everyone involved. Thanks for watching. Like the video, drop your thoughts in the comments, and hit subscribe if you want more real-time updates, moves, market trends, and hidden gems.